Alright, howdy everybody, Brandon's R Us here, and today I'm at the abandoned Toys R Us / Kids R Us here in Hickory, North Carolina. So this particular location opened sometime in the late 80s or 90s, hence the rainbow style facade, and it opened up as a Toys R Us and Kids R Us combo store. So for a Toys R Us, this is actually very full. A lot of the displays are still inside. You can see right on in. It's quite interesting. Usually most of the windows are not this open at Toys R Us locations. So we'll just, besides really this, there's nothing else really to see. Oh my god. Ew, look at that spider. I hate him. Is it even a spider? I don't know. But you can see right on inside, this looks like it underwent a remodel. Or, no, excuse me, this looks like, it definitely opened up in the 90s. Hence the, blue and white, checkout markers. It's either that, or it had a renovation very early in its lifetime. Because those blue and white aisle markers, I don't believe were introduced, until the late 1990s, when stores started undergoing that weird blue tile redesign. So here we have what used to be the old entrance. It has the older style entrance sign with the backwards R. Not too much to see in here. Although, oh Lord Shrek, what did they do to you? Oh my goodness. What happened? Oh Lordy. Well, that's something. You also can't see it, but all the way down, so all the way down, like that way, in that corner, there's a small sign that just says like, yeah, don't put your kids in the cart, stupid. So now coming over here is the right side of the storefront where
you've arrived.
Oh my God! Shut up, GPS. Sorry, we are in the middle of a road trip, coming back up from Atlanta to our hotel in Virginia, so the GPS might go off a few more times. So I apologize in advance if it does. It did in some previous videos I was shooting. So here we have the former exit, which is on the right side of that front vestibule, with the older styled exit only sign. And you can see quite well into the store actually. Nothing too spectacular. You can actually see right behind those doors, very faintly, is that cart warning sign that I was mentioning earlier. Alright, so now moving from the front of the store, we're actually going to be taking a look back at some of the carriage returns. These ones are quite interesting, as they say like, thank you for shopping with us, but the us in particular is written with the font style of the Toys R Us logo. It looks like they've turned these around, or I've just moved them, so you kind of have to look inside. They're not double-sided. So if we look closely, kind of to the right of where it says us, it actually looks like there's a faint scar from one of the old Jeffrey signs. And those were pretty standard on most stores of this age. Now, one more thing that I did want to check actually is, since it does have that Kids R Us sign out front, I wonder if it had the designated Kids R Us department. I know a lot of stores did in the 90s. They each had their own designated signs. My local store, which is the Waterford, Connecticut location, had it in the back right corner, although it looks like at this location, that's where the bikes are. So I'm going to check in the back. Oh, something else that's kind of interesting is these Play Chaser stickers. I think I mentioned them briefly in my my tour at the Waterford location right when it was closing. And that was an attempt for Toys R Us to really make their stores more interactive. They launched it right after they announced for bankruptcy. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a sign, so I'm gonna head around back for the customer pickup. Those are always cool. But they launched this app right after they announced bankruptcy, and it had like a corresponding app, an AR app that people could use and interact with like product displays and stuff. Now I thought this was interesting. Look at this. It's an old payphone. Don't see those around too much. With a very neglected phone book holster. Nope. No dial tone. And quarter managed to wedge itself in there. So these right here also look like they were carriage returns for Toys R Us. Generally they had a two-sided sign at the top of these little posts right there, and I'll have a picture of one on screen right now. I forget exactly what it said, but it says like, "Thanks for shopping with us, please return your carts," and it had a picture of, oh god, it's curb. It had a picture of the Jeffrey using the 1999 style that they used for a few short years. So for real this time, I'm gonna head into the back of the store and see if the customer pickup sign is still there, because I always think that's a fun thing to check out. Each store has a little bit of a different one from what I've seen so far. I was walking around the leftmost side of the building to get towards the back, but there's this little grassy area, but that's not what's interesting. What's really interesting is the older style Toys R Us sign. They officially ended that style sign, I think, in like '98, when they introduced the sign that has the little star around the R. So that just goes to show you how long this has been here. It's probably the same original sign that was there when the store opened all the way back in the 80s or 90s. And here we have a fire exit. Let's get a load of that. I don't think you ever realize how big these signs are until you see them in person. They're at least 4.5 feet tall each letter. Pretty wild. Looks like we got some trucks that have come for unloading some of the fixtures from the store. Ah, and there it is. Now this is quite interesting, as I've never actually seen a customer pickup sign like this. This is a very new one in comparison to some of the old ones. It uses the 2008 style logo, whereas pretty much every other single one that I've seen has come from much later. Let's take a peek inside. There's the back room. But other than that, there's not too much here. I'll probably take a walk around the building again, because hey, I gotta get to my car, and I'll try and film the pylon sign for you guys. So I'll cut to that right now. I'll see you guys in a moment.